Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Great Day Houston. My first guest is the host of a number of shows at PBS, including Cover to Cover. It's a show about the books that inspire us and oftentimes shape the person we become. I had a chance to share one of my favorite books on the show.
Speaking of flair and beauty and quality usage, what was the book you picked, Deborah?
I picked Life is an Adventure by Warner Roberts. And what's so cool about her is that she had a talk show in the 70s, and that was a time when they're still trying to figure out if women could make any sense, right? I mean, you might put a pretty woman next to a very meaningful news anchor man, right? But, and she kind of was a trailblazer for women like me in the television business.
Actually, my first book was 50 Shades of Grey, but I was told I needed to pick another book. Here to tell us more is the host of Cover to Cover.
You were on the Texas theme show. 50 Shades had nothing to do with Texas.
You're right. That was Seattle, Washington, or something like that. All right, Ernie Manouse, you recognize him. What's great about PBS is that it's a different type of programming, great quality programming. And then what you're able to do is kind of dovetail, or lonesome dovetail.
No, just dovetail.
Yeah, okay, dovetail off of what they do nationally and bring it home.
So they've started the Great American Read, which is a big initiative at PBS to figure out what is America's favorite book. So it's a 1-hour series, and it starts tomorrow night in episodic form. And we decided we wanted to find out what are our local folks' favorite books. So we did themed shows that match the same things they're doing on Great American Read, except we had wonderful local people on talking about their books and their themes and
you
ideas.
have some great folks. I was on with like Andrea, former First Lady of Houston. A lot of people don't realize that she's also an author.
Right. And also you had Joe from the Chronicle was there, and he had his idea of books. What I liked about him was that he didn't bring his book. He just brought the paper that he had written down quotes from the book, and he read for us from there. But it was fun because every show had different people on. We have Christina Wells from America's Got Talent. We have the Houston Spider-Man on the show, which is hard to get him to talk because he had to keep his mask on. But we had a lot of fun people and a lot of authors and a lot of fun.
What's really good is that you kind of put there in a group what people oftentimes do when they read a good book, and we all share what we either got from the book that we chose or what we collectively realized in something. And so you go by different genres, like the Texas authors.
Right, Texas, Who Am I, Other Worlds, I'm trying to remember them all, Heroes and Villains, and Love, of course. And so those themes, each one resonates with our audience. It resonates with everyone. And what we decided was if we were going to do a book club on television, it couldn't be about a specific book, because if you hadn't read that book, you wouldn't be able to enjoy it. But we've all experienced these genres, and we've all had books that share the story of love with us and what it meant to us, or stories that made us who we are, or other worlds. So it all worked out quite well for us. We were lucky.
Right. But what book for you is the one that you go, oh my gosh?
Mine is A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Strange as it is, I loved that book since I was young, and it's one of those books that I go back to and read over and over again, not just at the holidays, but the whole story of redemption, change, growth. I just love that story.
What was the first book that you connected to?
This is weird. Winnie the Pooh. And it wasn't because it was the book. I got it at school, and it was the cover of the book was like a felt little cover, and I used to carry it around and stroke the book.
Okay, Ernie was that kid.
That was my favorite book, and I always carried it around, and then eventually I read it. But
which is the reason why a lot of those kids' books actually have kind of that
tactile attention to it.
Mine was, and I've shared this story several times before, but it taught me a big lesson. It was Old Yeller, and we were reading it in class, and the teacher would read it to us every day, right? She'd read a part of it. And then I got so excited, I couldn't wait on her. I went home and decided I was going to finish the book on my own over a weekend. I come back on Monday morning, and I'm a wreck. And I told everybody in class, I went, you know what happens, don't you?
This book is going to take an ugly turn.
Right? And so all the kids at reading time, she goes, okay, boys and girls, let's get out the book. And she starts reading to us, and all the kids are crying already. And they're all like looking at her like, right? And she's like, what's going on? And so she looks at me, and she reads the book, and she keeps, I was a troublemaker, and she keeps reading, and all of a sudden she goes, then Old Yeller got up, and he shook, and he wagged his tail, and he lived happily ever after with his family, and all the kids turned at me like, you liar, you lied. And I was like, no, I'm telling you, look, she has a different teacher's version or something, right? It was the censored version for the class of kids in 3rd grade.
Oh, that's funny.
But it just kind of taught me, don't be a spoiler. Don't be a spoiler. But it was interesting. interesting. Okay. So what is it you want folks at home to get from this series?
I want them to see the joy of reading, the fun that there is in reading, and that I think in today's day and age, we spend a lot of time reading words, but not stories anymore. We're always on our phones, we're always tweeting and getting those short little bites. And to have time with a book, to feel the story and get involved with it and grow with it, and the experience of going on these journeys with these characters is so rich and warm and enriching. And we don't get that television, we don't get that in movies. There's a special relationship with books.
Yeah, and literally for me, I want to have the actual book. Like I am going down to the bookstore and I'm getting it. Yeah. To have that relationship. But they also, what it does is it forces us to slow down and take time.
Yeah.
I have locked myself in a room and gotten
I can't see you just sitting quietly reading a book.
Oh yeah, I did. I have pictures to prove it, but because what it was, my son was knocking on the door going, "Mom, can you come out, please?"
Well, I think that brings up a big point too, is that people don't seem to have the time to read anymore.
Oh, we don't make the time.
Right. I was just going to say, you've got to make it.
And a great book will make you make the time.
I remember reading the Amityville Horror when I was a kid when it came out, and I didn't go anywhere. I stayed in my room and I read it in one day, and I was like, it was the first book I ever read cover to cover in one sitting.
And slept with the lights on. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. You also have some fun on this show because you do like a little trivia type of thing.
Little game show.
Yeah, a little game show thing, and we have a little game show thing that we wanted to do as well. And so we were.
I'm a much better host than contestant.
Oh no, it's okay. And I was same here. Right? Okay. So anyway, we have some stuff here, and so I'm going to read some lines from a book, and you give us the title of the book.
Are they real books?
Yes, they're real books. Okay, it's time to play. Name that book. Okay, book number 1. I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere.
Green eggs and ham.
Oh, good.
I was running through every Dr. Seuss real quick.
All right, now let's go to round number 2. Can I help you, Mr. Gray? I assume there is some purpose to your visit other than to gawk mindlessly at me. I'm rather enjoying my mindless gawk, thank you, Miss Steele. He murmurs darkly, stepping further into the room.
Your favorite book, 50 Shades of Grey. Or in the Grey series?
Give it to you. In the Grey series, more specific, sir. 50 Shades Darker. Yes. Okay. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. Now it's time.
That was a trick question. That was unfair.
Yes. Now it's time. Well, it's going to get harder, right? Now it's time for me to redeem myself. This next quote is from a book that is basically probably the best-selling book of all time. Of all time. Thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not give false testimony against our neighbor, thou shalt not covet your neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet your neighbor's wife.
The Bible.
The Bible. There you go. Very good. See? There's nothing to worry about. That was awesome. All right. You can catch Cover to Cover tomorrow at 8 p.m. on Houston Public Media. It airs right after The Great American Read, and I'll be part of that panel on tomorrow's episode talking about the great state of Texas and some Texas authors as well. Ernie, thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us and doing it with us.